Hey friends, thanks for checking out the NBC6 Facebook page here. It is 3:45, and we're just getting ready for the 4 p.m. news with Angie Lastman. A quick update. We've had rounds of showers moving through South Florida, and even just recently, we had a severe thunderstorm warning in the lower Florida Keys. That just expired at 3:45 p.m., but we had really nasty wind gusts across the lower Keys, specifically at the National Weather Service office in Key West. That's right on White Street. They had a gust there at the office of 69 miles per hour. Man, that's the strongest wind gust I've seen all day today, as Laura has continued to churn off to our south on the south side of Cuba. But let's get into the maps here and take a look at what we've been watching. As we've gone through at least the afternoon, we've had these bands of rain cycle through. That's what we're seeing now across the lower Keys and down towards Big Pine Key, Big Coppic Key, down towards Key West. Continuing to watch these showers march on through. Locally, we've still been watching, at least through South Florida, these lines of storms coming through. There's been a little lull in the action now. This is First Alert Doppler 6000. But this line in particular was just cruising through the area. And this was actually responsible for wind gusts in Coral Gables that pushed 60 miles per hour. I mean, quite significant there. And what we've seen, at least through the afternoon hours, is as these rain bands come in, we've ended up with these wind gusts that have been quite significant from time to time here, anywhere from 45 to 55 miles per hour. Now, as I was showing you, I just don't see that there's that much still out and about at this hour as we look out across the Atlantic waters and across Biscayne Bay. We will send that batch up across interior Palm Beach County. And for now, at least at the station here in Miramar, looking out my window, sunshine making a return. Here's a satellite over Laura as it's moving off to the west-northwest. It's probably within about 45 miles now of the Isle of Youth here, moving towards the western end of Cuba. This storm has maintained itself pretty well going back since last night. Let me see here. We've been running around 1,000 to 1,002 millibars all the way through. Winds right now are at 60 miles per hour, and those bands of showers and storms get pushed off on the north side of the storm. They've run across the straits and into the Keys and at times here into South Florida. When it hasn't been raining, of course, we've seen the wind, and it's a gradient wind that's tied into the system moving off to our south and west at this point. And with the update at 2 p.m., holding steady here with 60 mile per hour winds and a good forward clip at 20 miles per hour. So down the line here, I will note the orange areas. Those are tropical storm warnings, which continue for the middle and lower Keys, and also, of course, obviously central and western Cuba. We're going to push the storm probably across the western end of Cuba, which will have a lower topography. I don't know that we'll see all that much disruption in the overall structure of the storm, but as we go into time and we move it out across the Gulf waters, exceptionally warm water in a light shear environment, we will have the potential, as is reflected in the official forecast, for a strengthening storm. This would be then our fourth hurricane of the 2020 season. So potentially moving towards Texas or Louisiana, and those details still need to be sorted out. We may well have a strong Cat 2 on our hands Wednesday night leading into Thursday morning. I also believe that there'll be some fine tuning of the timing as we get down through the next 48 hours. But the bottom line is a strong tropical storm across Cuba now may well be a very potent Category 2 hurricane in 48 hours, threatening the U.S. coastline. And again, we're going to watch this model cycle by model cycle, but it does look like the coast of Texas and at least the western portion of the Louisiana coastline will be threatened with storm surge, heavy rain, and damaging winds. And all those remnants will eventually, late week, go up into the lower and middle Mississippi Valley, if not sweep back through the Ohio Valley. And so the remnants may be around the region for quite some time. Locally, here's what we've got. Still that tropical storm warning in effect for the middle and lower Keys. That'll continue on through the evening and overnight. The worst of the wind and rain still in play this evening, especially down across the Keys. Coastal Broward and Miami-Dade wind advisory continues. And again, some sunshine out there right now, but our winds have been running pretty steady between about 20 and 30 miles per hour. The wind radius here, we'll use this graphic. You've seen this a lot through the weekend. We look at the stretch of the wind fanning out from the center of circulation. Yeah, of course, Cuba being impacted by Laura, but we think that the kind of the edge of this radius will just be clipping through the lower Keys tonight, and that's why we still have some concern for gusty winds on through the late night hours across the lower Keys, especially. And then Laura will move away as we get into the early morning hours on Tuesday, and our weather locally, both for the Keys and South Florida, will continue to improve. Quick check on the sustained winds. Again, as we head towards the 4 o'clock hour, they've been sustained between about 20, 25 miles per hour. The wind gusts, I mean, this is just hourly. We've got wind gusts that have been reported with some of the rain bands that have come through anywhere between 45 and 60 miles per hour. So the tropical storm force wind gusts have certainly verified. I'll end here by checking in on Marco, and Angie will talk more about this at the top of the hour on air. This system just got sheared apart, and all of the watches, or all of the warnings, I should say, were dropped this afternoon across the northern Gulf Coast states. So we now have no warnings in effect for Marco, as Marco is a sheared system with all the wind and rain, and what's left of that, across Alabama and the panhandle of Florida, while the center of circulation still sits off to the southeast of New Orleans. It is moving slowly northwest at 6 miles per hour. And again, these remnants, at least the low-level circulation, will move off to the west across Louisiana through the day on Tuesday and into Wednesday. But certainly we've diminished the impact or the potential threat that Marco had once posed. So kind of an interesting twist there across the area. So again, keeping those winds around as we go through the rest of the afternoon hours. But here in South Florida, again, we're going to get Laura moving along to our south and then out into the Gulf waters. Our weather will get better late tonight and through the day on Tuesday. At that point, we'll just watch and see what happens, as Laura is expected to reorganize, intensify, and may well be a very strong hurricane in the next 36 to 48 hours, threatening the Gulf Coast states, specifically into Texas and Louisiana. So again, that may well be our fourth hurricane of what has already been a very busy 2020 season. But for us here in South Florida, a glancing blow with gusty winds yet again, especially across the lower middle Keys. And some of those wind gusts and those rain bands may well continue through the evening and late night hours through the Keys. But again, things will get better here as we get through the next 12 hours or so. And I think Tuesday is looking a whole lot brighter for us around South Florida. All right, that's the latest here from the weather office. Again, Angie Lastman on at 4, I'm on at 5, and John Morales returns at 6 o'clock. We'll see you there.